Hey, what's going on, everyone? So, Doom the Dark Ages, it releases in May of this year, and like a lot of big games, there's been some debate around it. Specifically, people started talking about the game's difficulty sliders, and it kind of turned into a whole thing. About 2 months ago, there was some controversy surrounding the game after its difficulty sliders were revealed. Some players criticized the feature, calling the game Doom the Woke Ages, while others saw it as a simple customization option. Now recently, id Software's Hugo Martin has responded to the criticism,
Doom the Woke Ages,
explaining why the sliders were added and addressing concerns about them making the game too easy. Now before we get into his response, back on January 23rd of 2025 during Xbox's Developer Direct event, id Software unveiled gameplay footage and mechanics for Doom the Dark Ages. One major announcement was the introduction of customizable difficulty sliders, something not featured as an official option in id Software's previous games. These sliders allow players to adjust various gameplay elements individually. For instance, you can alter things like enemy aggression, projectile speed, damage to the player, damage to enemies, and even the game's overall speed. According to Marty Stratton, executive producer at id Software, the goal was to make combat more approachable and flexible than ever before, describing it as a Doom for all slayers. Shortly after the reveal, some people started criticizing these sliders, labeling the game as Doom the Woke Ages. This term quickly spread on social media, with critics suggesting that adding extensive customization options made the game overly easy, or compromised the original hardcore Doom gameplay. One notable example is a post on Twitter that said Doom the Woke Ages, and included two screenshots, one screenshot showing the difficulty sliders, and the other screenshot was a still frame of Doom the Dark Ages gameplay with an on-screen caption reading, "It's a Doom for all slayers." In response to this criticism, Hugo Martin, the game's director, directly addressed the controversy in a video posted on Doom's Twitter account on March 19th, 2025, and here's what he said.
Doom the Woke Ages. I've heard about this. I've seen the videos. Well, here's the thing about this. First of all, I don't agree with that. And really, when you think about options like the sliders, the policy was it has to be good both for the white belts and the black belts. You know, if we're going to allow you to slow the game down, we have to enable you to speed the game up. And
Martin further explained that these sliders are not simply easy mode adjustments. He clarified, so everything in the game, you can either make things super hard or super easy, or just find that sweet spot somewhere in the middle. He also gave an example of how internal developers have been using the sliders in unexpected ways.
What we see with the sliders from our best players in the office is that they do a lot of surprising things. You would think it's just crank everything up, but that's actually not the case. Like one of our players, Mikey and Travis, they like to slow down the projectiles, but then make them lethal. It really enhances that three-dimensional shmup, that bullet hell experience. That is kind of what classic Doom is. Classic Doom is a three-dimensional bullet hell, weaving between these slow-moving projectiles that hit really hard. And that's what creates the maze, and that's what promotes, encourages the player to move, is really the projectiles. And that's what we focused on, for this game. So being able to adjust those things doesn't make the game, super easy. It actually, it can make it super easy, but it can make it like super hard. It's like messing with an equalizer on a radio, you know what I mean? You just find what suits you best.
He assured players that default difficulty settings like Ultraviolence and Nightmare are carefully balanced by the developers. We'll make sure that it feels really good on Ultraviolence, Normal, Nightmare, all that stuff. And then we'll expose those sliders to you so you can make it the way you want. And finally, Martin firmly rejected the notion that the game was inherently easy. He says, so no, the game is not easy, don't say that. Following this video from Hugo Martin, many players praised his explanation, highlighting that the sliders offered more accessibility and increased replayability. However, some will still probably argue that it strays too far from Doom's traditional hardcore difficulty and maintain their criticism. So there you have it, that's a breakdown of the Doom the Woke Ages controversy, as well as Hugo Martin's response. Doom the Dark Ages is set to release on May 15th, 2025 on Xbox Series X and S consoles, PlayStation 5, and PC. Feel free to let us know your thoughts on this controversy, and regardless of whether or not you think difficulty sliders make the game woke, are you a fan of difficulty sliders, or do you hate the idea, and why? Well, that's going to do it for this one. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you on the next one. Later.